everybody, I'm Lauren,
I'm Emma.
and you're listening to The Oakview. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back.
to another
Episode of The Oakview.
The Oakview.
Did you miss us? Oh, yeah.
Actually,
1, 2, 3. The
The
Oakview.
Oakview.
We did it.
We're upgrading our
Wow.
level of amazingness.
Oh my gosh, we're so in sync today.
That
I
was
feel
great.
it. I feel it.
I feel the vibes.
Wow.
Guys, there's a reason why we're in sync. Lauren and I are sitting in the same room again.
Very far apart.
Very far apart. Over 6 feet. Because we got extension wires. And
Yeah, we got extenders.
we got extenders for our amazing things.
But we're vibing.
Because we realize that because it's spring, our friendship deserves to flourish at least 8 feet apart. Amazing.
Amazing.
Updates. How are you? What are you doing? What's up to
Oh my
your
gosh,
life?
so many updates.
Oh, yeah, tell me.
Well, not like so many. You have a bigger update than me. But
Like I donated blood. Is that the update?
yeah, good for you.
Oh, yeah.
I am too chicken. I fully believe that everybody should donate blood.
It's
I'm
kind of
chicken.
a
Somebody tell me to donate blood.
donate blood.
Somebody make me feel guilty about it, and then I'm gonna be there
There are
every week.
Dying
Just kidding. I
people
don't.
every day that
Okay.
need your blood.
No, it's true though.
Donate blood.
Okay, I'm so scared.
No, people are really afraid of needles and blood. And like for me, I'm not afraid of needles, but like if I see an ounce of blood, I get
The
a little
worst part
woozy.
is that I know I would be fine. Like I know I could do it and walk away, and like
You'd be fine.
I'll be
You get
totally
snacks out of
fine.
it.
It's purely selfish that I'm not doing it. Okay, that's enough. I'll go do
Do you
it.
know your blood
I'll
type?
give you guys an update when I go do it. No, I don't know.
Not even like when you go get like
I don't
blood
even
work
think
for
when
like
you go-
cholesterol.
Well, no, I remember I've had blood taken before, and I've asked, and they were like, "We can't tell you unless you like pay money." And I was like,
Pay money.
don't
We're already
understand.
paying you money.
"Anyway,
Moving on.
so I don't know my blood type."
The birds are chirping. Lauren doesn't know her blood type, but the birds are out.
Sun's out.
Yeah, what's your update?
I was just gonna talk about like my week this week.
Oh, right. Okay.
And like when we talk about the things that we've learned,
Oh,
because
right.
our favorite thing to do.
Well, we vetoed
clearly.
that. That segment's gone. Out the
I was-
door. It's trash.
We can't just announce it.
We
and
already
then
did.
like get rid of it 2 weeks later.
We sure did. We announced it like
Oh
2 weeks
my
ago. We said
gosh.
we veto this. We're no longer
that
doing
doesn't
that.
make us seem very stable.
No, we are
hosts.
very inconsistent. That's what makes us me and Lauren.
I can't handle this.
Anyways, since your update is more mundane than mine, I bought a house.
Yay!
It was very exciting. Oh man, kind of crazy. Still learning the noises of the house. Kind of freaks me out sometimes.
Yeah, tell me about your neighbors.
Okay, they are quite interesting. The normal neighbors that I have met include the ones across the street that have children and a wife.
You already met like multiple neighbors?
Yes, because my multiple family members
I live by a
have
lot
come
of houses,
over.
and I only know like 2 of my neighbors. And
My
I live,
family
like-
is very invasive. When they move in, they meet people. They check in. They knock on doors. They're like, "Ding dong,
You
when's
did
the
not
garbage?"
knock on people's doors.
No, but my dad did find
You,
out
like,
when my
hang out
garbage
on
day
garbage
is.
day?
Literally the day I moved in.
Oh, I got
He's like, "It's Monday, by the way," and I was like, "How do you know
good
this?"
to know.
He's like, "Your neighbor Janet, she was walking her dog."
Janet.
And I was
Here's her
like,
phone number.
Okay, great. Yeah. So the neighbors that don't live next to me are good. The ones that live next to me, they have lots of interesting issues.
Okay.
The first one is the neighbor that is on the sleeping wall,
What does that mean?
the bed wall, the wall that my bed is on.
Okay, so it's
The
you have to
shared
be more
wall.
specific.
The neighbor that shares a wall with my bedroom.
Okay, she does not sleep on the wall.
They don't sleep
Gotcha.
on
Not
the
like a
wall, in the
vampire.
wall, or
Do you
against
think that
the wall.
your neighbor's a vampire?
I think they're low-key vampires. They're up all night. They make a lot of noise.
No way.
No, I'm just kidding. They do make some noise, and I can hear muffled voices. So, like, I don't hear them talking per se. I can't hear conversations, but I can hear muffled sounds. So that's frustrating for me because I'm a very light sleeper.
Yeah.
So what I did is I went and got a noise machine.
Okay.
Lots of
That's
thunder in the night. And it's helping a little bit. But then I also decided that, probably because I don't have a lot of stuff in the spaces
I was
yet.
just going to say that. Yeah.
Lots of echo. So really no problem there. But I did learn So the way my house situation works out is the bottom half of my house shares a wall with a different neighbor,
Okay.
and then the top half shares with a different neighbor.
Okay.
So my nighttime noises are different than my daytime noises.
Wow. Nice. Switching it up.
We're really
Got a
getting
big variety.
getting really innovative. Now, I don't think I'm going to tell you exactly what I learned for the podcast for the sake of privacy, but let me say this. When my sisters came over to help me just get a little situated, my sister went outside to get something out of the car, and the neighbor approached her and was like, "Hello, my name is," and I'm going to call her Sarah. Sarah, I have 5 kids, and their ages range from like 2 to 5, and I was like, "Oh God, that's a lot." And then she told me this like really sad story about her mother.
You're like, wow, this is a lot of information.
I was like, "I'm so sorry about your mother. I don't even know you." And I'm like already feeling bad about living here. And then she told me a story about this like other family member of hers. And I kid you not, too much info.
Overload. Yeah.
Overload. We walked back in the house and was like, wow, like I just met you and I learned everything about you in 2 minutes. And that just kind of overwhelmed me. So I'm like not going outside.
I love it.
I did meet another neighbor. They also have a dog. He walks his dog every morning when I go to work. And very boring. So far, so good.
That's good.
We love a good boring neighbor.
Yeah, love it.
Keep to yourself. Mind your own business. Don't talk to me.
So I recently had a new neighbor like move in kind of across the street. And I see one of the guys like out in the driveway often. He's a smoker, so there's that.
Let's tell
Not
you
that-
how Lauren really feels.
Not that I'm judging. Smoking is on its way out, I feel like.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Nicotine needs to go.
but I haven't really like introduced myself
Sure.
to them. Maybe I should.
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's really necessary.
I mean, I'm sure they're perfectly nice. Maybe I should be like, hey, here's my number. If your garage door is ever open, or you know.
Wow, that's really nice. That's like really nice.
Well, other neighbors have done that for me. Like, hey, here's my number, just in case. We also get packages mixed up quite often.
Why?
Like,
you all have your
it'll
own
be like your
address.
package is delivered and it's at my neighbor's house.
That just
This
sounds like a
happens.
dumb
This is a
neighbor.
frequent problem. Like, we know that if it's not on our front step and it should be, that we should take a little walk and make sure that it's not on anybody else's front.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting now living in a space that's mine. Definitely a big girl purchase. Kind of regretted it the first week.
Yeah, how are you feeling? So,
It's kind of scary.
day one, you were very, very freaked out.
Day one, anxiety
overwhelmed.
through the roof. My hand cramped up.
How are you feeling now?
Now I'm like, well, this makes sense.
Is like, are you a little more calm?
I'm calm. I set up my little security system because I'm a paranoid person.
Mm-hmm.
I live alone.
Because you're a woman living by herself.
I'm a woman by myself.
Understandable.
In my own
yes.
house, so I feel better. I feel more comfortable. I feel less exposed because like one of my blinds was broken and I had to fix it because I felt like the neighbors were looking in on me. So as soon as I fixed that, I felt a lot better.
Okay, that's good.
But I think it was a really good move for me. Not like the move, like a good move in life.
Yes,
Because moving sucks.
correct.
Just
I agree.
the worst.
Couldn't agree more.
So it was a really great lateral move because I upped the ladder vertical, gaining skills. Anyways, I think I was trying to debate between whether or not I could rent again and afford to pay rent to someone that I don't know that doesn't go anywhere. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, I feel like investing in my own self would be the best thing for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time, it doesn't have
So
to
proud
be.
of you.
Gosh, thank you. They keep telling me too, like, if I do want to move again in like 5 years, I could either sell it or rent it.
Yeah, no biggie.
No biggie. So now I'm like, why didn't I do this earlier? Because like,
right?
this is
I live by myself.
I live by myself. Living by yourself, 10 out of 10.
That's the one thing I never got to do.
Do you think you needed to do that?
Well, no, because I mean, here I am. Here's the thing. I fantasize about like, oh, wouldn't that be so nice? Like I should have done it in college or I should have done it after college. But here's the thing about me.
Mm-hmm.
Something that people don't know about me.
Okay.
I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yes, you
but,
are.
however, I really like being taken care of. I liked it when my dad made me breakfast in the mornings, and I like it when my husband helps me, like,
hilarious.
I don't have to, it's not all on me, right? I don't have to do all of the dishes for myself.
God,
but,
you're making my life sound so sad.
Well, no, but I also fantasize about it because I think it would be such like, I think I would like living by myself,
I think everyone should do it.
but I also think that I would be calling my parents a lot.
10 out of 10, I call my parents every day anyways. That's just the relationship I have with them. It's never really like, hey, Mom, help me. It's more like, hey, what's going on?
Like, it would be chill. It'd be quiet, but I, can't complain.
I will complain for you. Doing the dishes, if it's not done, it's your fault. You can't blame anybody else.
But then, I mean, like, nobody else cares. Like,
no, just me.
So if you don't care, then it's not a problem.
Which can be a problem because I should care.
True.
Because when you come over, you'll be like, Emma, my God, please put the plate away. And then I'll be like, well,
not necessarily.
Not needed.
Anyway.
Okay. So besides the move, it's been great. And my new drive to work is different and I like it a lot more.
That's good.
I'm closer to you now.
Fun.
Think everyone. And I'm, near my fam, which was the big portion of what I wanted to do because I have nieces and nephews. And I don't know. I'm a big family person. I like being near the fam. And I love where I live now because all of my favorite things are in like a very great central location. And I don't know. I'm feeling good.
It.
I am.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. But it was definitely a hard decision to make. Great decision in the end. Ideal.
Solid.
All right. Now tell me about your week.
Okay. It was a long work week. Lots of things happened at work this week. But I wanted to talk about it because I feel like I've made a big stride in my personal career.
Okay. Yeah.
So this week was forever. It was crazy busy, come in early, stay late. That was the whole week. Hustle, get tasks done. I was feeling like a little overwhelmed, but it was fine overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then with that, lots of things happened. So anything that you can think of, I had a meeting with a group, including my boss, that it didn't go bad, but it could have gone a lot better. So I was feeling, a little bit disappointed in myself, right? I could have been more prepared or whatever so that this meeting would have gone better. Not that it was bad. It was fine. It was just like it could have been a lot better.
Now, are you being hard on yourself or are you being unbiased?
Well, that's the balance. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
I had mean emails come at my way. I got feedback for the thing that I was running and all very good feedback, all very helpful, constructive feedback that like absolutely makes sense. It was the first time we were running through something, but like all of that on top of me during 1 week was kind of a lot.
Okay.
And so after the mean emails, you're trying to handle the mean emails and work as a team and rectify this relationship so you can continue on a project and have it work well. Here's what I've gotten out of it. So everything about this week was fine. And I feel like if I wasn't so busy, it really would have broke me down more than it did. But since I was busy, I didn't really have time to
process.
I didn't really have time to like mope about it or like complain about it or get angry about it. I just had to like deal with it and move on, which was interesting because I feel like it helped me. I feel like I kind of grew in my personal career.
Love that.
To say I was very proud of myself with how I handled all of this because in the past, so for the last 3.5 years I've been working or whatever, in the past that really would have hurt me. Any one of those things, having a meeting go bad, getting mean emails directed only at me in a big team with a lot of people copied, or like getting a lot of critical feedback all at once. Any one of those things alone really would have brought me down, made me feel bad. I would have agonized over it. I would have thought about it as I was falling asleep. I would have, really beat myself up for it or felt defensive, felt angry, etc. But this week, I really handled it a lot differently, and I am happy about that. I feel like I had enough emotional and professional intelligence to say, sure, you could have been more prepared. This could have gone better.
Right.
That's all right. You know what to do next time. It's not going to happen again. You're not going to put yourself in a position where the meeting can go bad or you can have a mean email sent to you for this reason again, whatever it might be.
Right, right.
And that was just due to some like miscommunication, whatever. And so I handled those things right on the spot, saying, here's an email just explaining a little bit more, rather than shooting another mean email back or copying more people or being defensive. It was just kind of like, cool, we all agree. I understand where you're coming from. Glad we're all on the same page. Let's move on, right? And then meeting with those people after, being like, the only thing I care about is that if we can work as a team on this project.
Amazing.
If you can work as a team, so can I. We're not going to have any issues. We both understand the situation. And I think that helped me a lot because I feel like I didn't beat myself up.
Which is good.
You know, I didn't. It wasn't just in my head, I also had the intentionality to say that it wasn't on me. I have team members working on projects with me or whatever who also need some accountability on why things didn't run.
Yeah, you're not the only
100% smoothly, which as in the past, like I'm a natural leader or, you know, like a bossy girl, whatever, however you want to say it. So a lot of times I'll take on too much. And I feel like I handled it well enough to know that not everything's on me, totally okay, will not happen again, and move on.
Totally. Can you speak in specifics? Not necessarily like about your company, but like how a particular mean email had like a chain reaction of what you responded to and how you responded to it? Because like I hear you saying like, you know, I had this email, it wasn't really great. I was kind of, you know, bummed out about it, but like I had a million things on my plate, so I couldn't really process that.
Yes, the whole week was very much, I kept saying to myself, you're doing the best that you can for right now.
Brilliant.
Not necessarily the best that you can ever, because I probably could have done a better job on those things if it was a different week or depending on my workload, etc. So I kept just saying to myself, you're doing the best you can for right now, for today.
And that's sufficient enough.
Yeah. And that's saying like the only way that I could have been more prepared is if I worked even more hours than I already was, right?
Right. And that necessarily is the best answer.
And it wouldn't have it wasn't necessarily worth it, right?
Sure.
If it was,
but your job isn't not your whole life.
If it was something that was final, if it was something for like a final presentation or the end of a project where things were more critical, but having it be towards the beginning of a project where we're all grasping clarification
totally
on the expectations, that's where the miscommunication would happen, right?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine that. Well, in my opinion, I feel like you were saying earlier, it's just like the best you could was what you had given in front of you.
Yeah.
And also like your job is not your whole life. You can't give more hours. You can't work 80 hours a week. And
I mean, you can,
but like, is that healthy? Is that
exactly
worth it? You have other things.
Yeah. And in the past, like it really would have hurt me, or I would have taken it personally, or I would have really beat myself up over it. And knowing that I was just doing the best with the workload that I had, and it wasn't a bad job, it just could have been better, is a whole new perspective on how I think about my work.
And yourself.
And yeah, and myself and my quality of output.
Absolutely. That makes me ask the same question. Now, are you feeling this way because this is you analyzing Lauren as Lauren being Lauren? Or is this like this is how I would expect this from my teammates?
Well, here's the thing. So me being Lauren, I'm type A, perfectionist, right? I like to speak in meetings because I really value effective communication. I like, and this isn't everybody's vibe, but in a meeting, I want to get as much information out as fast as possible because we only have a limited amount of time to get to point B, to get to whatever needs to come out of that meeting, next steps, whatever. And so lots of times I'll be like, hey, let me run through these quick notes, or like, let's put this information on the table. And having a perfectionist output, like usually is if it's like, oh, well, who's going to do this? I'll do it. which I feel like every female engineer or woman in STEM can a little bit relate to, right?
Sure, because we want the job to be done right. We're going to do it ourselves.
Exactly. But that aspect, but also the aspect of like, we feel like we have, because in many cases we have to do more, be more, work harder to get good results. And another lesson learned there is that I need to equally participate and listen. Not that I don't. Okay, so like team members, right? Before our meeting that could have gone better, beforehand, we didn't really talk about who's going to discuss what, who's going to bring up these points. And so because I'm like a talker and like to take charge and a natural leader, I kind of did that. And then, that reflects bad on us as a group, but it also reflects bad on me because it seems like I'm hogging all of this information, right?
Sure.
And I'm not the only person on this project or this team who knows this information, knows it well.
Right.
And if we had discussed that previous, it would have been different and probably gone better. But since we didn't, and since we have limited time, the output was the output, right?
No, see, that's bogus. Here's the thing. We are constantly in a position of taking on the group work and fulfilling all of the tasks because someone like John doesn't want to do it and doesn't care enough to do it. So then when things actually fall through, they're going to be like, I didn't agree. This is wrong. You're wrong. We're all wrong. I hate everybody. And then I'm going to be like, John, you're the one that told me to do this shit. Take ownership in your crap and just own up to the fact that you made a mistake and we're going to fix it and move forward. What's the problem here?
Yeah, there is no problem. We're all on the same team. We're all working on the same project. We need to act like a team.
I agree. 100%.
And I think the takeaway here, I think my lesson learned is that nothing's always going to go perfectly. At some point, you are going to be put in bad light and look bad.
Yes.
But ultimately, and this is the takeaway, you are only in control of how you react to a situation. You are only in control of yourself. You have no control over how anybody else reacts.
But I only agree with that to some degree.
It's okay if I look bad in this moment.
Why?
Because I have 3.5 years of, my boss knows me. If he sees somebody who's sending a mean email to me, he knows me well enough to know that I am on top of my game at all times, right? And so that's why it's like less concerning to me. I know that at the end of the day, if I have good output, it doesn't matter. Unless people regularly have issues with me, which they absolutely do not.
Which that never happens because you are someone of good work ethic, good work presentation. You look good,
and I'm
act
not
good,
saying
you do
like,
your job.
I'm not saying I'll never have issues.
No, because everybody makes mistakes and you have to learn from that.
Yeah, you can only control how you react, how you make yourself look, and the output, the quality of your work at the end of the day. And as long as you control those things with grace and professionalism, there's nothing more that you will do, and it will reflect on you in your work, with your team, as a leader, etc.
I mean, fine. That is a good answer. But I'm still mad about it. I think
I'm not. Because it doesn't benefit me being mad about it.
Being mad necessarily.
And, okay, don't get me wrong. I told like my coworkers about it. You're mad about it.
I'm mad. This is the only thing I didn't let it.
Justice. I had other stuff to do.
I understand that, but my thing about this is, if we're going to talk about women showing assertive qualities and simultaneously being kind, and the view that we have, I know what you mean. There's always a double-edged sword here. You're either so kind, you accept the rude comments because it's really not a big deal. You'll get over this. People know you. You're a good worker. Not you particularly. I'm just saying.
In general.
Or you react like I did. And you end up getting the B word as a reputation.
And that's why you have to pick and choose.
But
that's why you control how you react in a certain situation. If this was a higher stakes situation, I would have corrected the miscommunication and held accountability to those who needed it. This was a low stakes situation. It's a one time. This is one scenario in my career, and it ultimately, in the long run, will not affect the output of my work, where I'm at right now, my job.
Yeah.
There's a hard balance.
But even though you responded so intact, I will say, it still bothers you. Like
Well,
all of the things.
Yeah, it was a long week.
All of the things piled into a
just
ball.
Saying, hey, that's why this is the best I could do for right now. I had other stuff to worry about.
I think
there was other crap to do. I had other people depending on me, and I dealt with the things. I took that feedback. I took any criticism this whole week, and next week I'm going to make that all better, and it's going to be fine.
I honestly think that's really it's really big of you.
Or in the past, I would have been like crying in the bathroom.
No, I know, and I honestly think that's really big to see that growth and transformation for you, because that was you a couple years ago. Like, you got nervous when things happened, and you would get upset. But now that you're in
that's why it's like this lesson learned. I'm happy with it. I feel like this is a good direction. I feel like I have more stability and more confidence in where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I know that I'm critical to success for certain things.
Absolutely. I'm wondering though if I'm not wondering. I feel like this was a big lesson for you about grace and prioritizing and really reaching in to see, is this something that matters in this moment right now? How can this be changed for the future? And, sometimes people don't even really think about how little micro moments grow into a long-term
absolutely effect. If this continued to be a problem after we have better communication and better, more time to work things out and meet, that's a different situation.
My thing though is like, if you and I'm glad that you know this, because if this was a problem that was the third or fourth time,
then it's time to deal with it in a different way.
Then we go higher up and we really crack down. But so far so good, right?
Yeah.
And I think people don't give themselves enough grace for having hard weeks that are really complicated and difficult to work with.
Taking that criticism, it could have been a lot better. I know
course.
that.
Of course it could have been.
But this is the best that I could do.
This is what we got. And that's another thing that I was really proud to hear you say, is like, this is the best I can do.
It's not the best I can be ever.
Not always, of course, because I feel like after, 10 hours of sleep, a full meal, a large Coke for me, I can do great things. But when I'm lack on sleep and I only ate a bagel, I'm probably at 80%.
I'm running from this to that meeting to over here to this,
Right, exactly.
When you're juggling multiple things, it helped me put things in perspective.
Balancing yourself that way of saying, this is the priority at hand right now. Here's the 10 things I need to get done for the week. This is not high on the list. This can be put tomorrow.
Yeah,
and this can be something that we deal with. And I find that to be really encouraging.
And it's hard to tell people that stuff.
I think so too. But I at least from an outside perspective, because my position at my job is not like that, I don't have that kind of pressure. I have teammates that I work with and communicate with, and like we talked about, there's issues and things don't always go well, but I really commend you on putting yourself to the side and saying, my emotions right now are not really needed. I feel sad and pain.
Is
we need to get this done.
Correcting this and making sure that everybody's willing to participate and not dwell on this.
Right. And I think that's another thing that, like, our generation comes full with a package of, holy cow, we need to over-explain, because we feel this need to give all the information at hand when, like, no one cares.
Yeah.
Right? Dear boss, I'm so sorry for not sending this 1 minute sooner. Here is the information.
And really,
oh my gosh,
if you look at the mean emails that I received, ultimately, they were just concerned about these points. Right. And those concerns were valid.
Yeah, of course.
The writing of it wasn't nice, but that doesn't matter. I understand that the information they were trying to give me was, hey, I'm concerned about this thing. I don't agree with this point. And I say, yes, we discussed in the meeting. I agree with you. We are on the same team.
Yeah, I agree.
So as a woman in STEM, when you're balancing and juggling those things, it also connects to that aspect of not becoming the secretary.
Which is a big fear of yours.
I send out the information because, I don't know, because it's easy and it takes 2 seconds. So, why not offer to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the future I don't do that.
Yeah, maybe you really put it on someone else.
And I don't have to do everything.
No, you don't. And I think that's also
and be
part
the secretary
of being
and
a
be the one who's
balanced
the best
employee.
communicator and be,
Teams.
And that's hard to do. There's restraint.
It's very
there
hard
when
to
you're
do.
a perfectionist and we're trying to prove yourself and you're the only woman in the meetings, etc.
It's very hard to do. I have the same problem. I have tasks that I have to do and roles that I play, and sometimes I like to bounce into other people's roles because I know that I can do it better.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is that I'm not being a team player then. I'm not allowing others to make mistakes and ask questions like I did when I was younger. And I feel like for anybody who is giving
you don't find yourself doing that with like older people who've been there forever?
I do that differently.
It talks about like making a better PowerPoint or like.
Well, when it comes to presentations and documents and like putting
that
together
stuff,
booklets,
I
do it by myself.
I can't.
I
It
don't
will
even let
give
people
me
do that.
anxiety to know that I can't have that with my name on it out there. Isn't that so?
Yeah.
And that. Yes, you need to let people make mistakes, but when they're a grown person at your work, when they've been there way longer than you have,
yes,
that's not like they're not learning any lessons with putting a PowerPoint together, right?
I agree.
And then it becomes a game of manipulation. It becomes a game of
in your favor. Her face. She said, "Yeah."
It becomes a game of how we have a meeting to review this presentation. How can I get a direction and explain points clearly and nicely and in just the right timing to get everybody to agree that we need to change this slide to say something else because the way it's worded right now is garbage. But I can't tell them that it's garbage.
Yeah.
And that is fun.
I am entertained by your joy right now.
I don't know if you've ever had that situation where I'm like, well, I don't think that this wording is necessarily correct. I don't think that the people we're presenting this presentation to necessarily want to know that. I feel like they might want to know this point and this point. Do you agree? They'll say, yeah, I agree. Okay, so I like what you have, but let's change that wording to this point and this. Like, say blah, 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 blah.
I don't work in a firm that's large enough to have meetings like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's more like
we're very
on one person.
We're very
siloed,
repetitive. Maybe that's the word.
Okay. Like fall into old habits?
No, it's more like it's the same thing
all the time.
All the time.
Gotcha.
Because we're asking the same questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a negative thing. It's just that
you just pull the old formats.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And
totally
the questions we ask are like, how many students do you have in this school?
Mm-hmm.
What classrooms do you need? What type of learning environment do you expect?
Each subject, whatever.
Each subject. So like it helps us create spatial environments. We get into the nitty gritty of the school questions when we get into final decisions. Those change. But I don't have to deal with that quite yet.
Nice.
So I hear you. And I can't imagine that would not be fun because I love being in charge.
Or just when it's little things like sometimes people aren't, if someone's not a detail-oriented person, they might not put it on the company PowerPoint template.
No, I agree with that.
They might use random fonts. Like you name it.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, okay, well, you're talking about architects here. We don't do random fonts. We're very, uniformed there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have those kind of issues because we're very...
I understand. Because there's a standard.
There's a standard for our practices. There's also standard per firm practices, but also like the types of people I work with, we're all type A. It's very complicated.
I wish.
And no, you don't. You don't want 8 type A people in a room because then everything is up to their standards and then we all have to agree upon
Have you ever been in an all-girl team?
Yeah, like soccer.
Or even like, it's so wild. Whenever you have the opportunity to work with other women, especially in our fields, it's wild. It's good.
The amount that
But
gets done.
also yes, the amount that gets done, but then also like all the type A's in one room, it has its disadvantages at points.
I think Kelly put it in a really good way about when she was getting into vet school. Like, take the smartest people in a room and then you put them all in the same space. Like, that's how I feel when I meet people that are like me and they think like me. I'm like, ooh, now I gotta like bring my game. I don't know. Yeah, it's very different.
It's a very different environment, and not everybody can adapt. I'm a total teamwork person. I'm a communication person. I might not have every single technical skill in my tool belt, but I have every single emotional, communicative, soft skill in my belt. Right.
I think that comes with being a woman.
No. I mean,
so?
No. I would say that comes with the person, especially with engineering, right?
Well, for you,
There's so many people who lack soft skills.
I think soft skills are what creates a well-rounded environment. Well-rounded environment. There is some comedy in this episode, my friends.
Yeah, I was as I just laughed, I was like, oh.
Sometimes we need serious conversations to happen.
I feel like this is a good conversation.
I feel like it was too, because I think that you really did.
If you lack soft skills, just work on it. It's okay. If you get criticism about it, if you get not criticism, constructive feedback about it, let's take those things. Let's work on it.
I agree.
Just like I understand that I need to learn some more X,
I think
Y,
everyone
Z,
needs to take a step back and analyze how they approach everything, conversations, work, tasks, and just really, if you ask yourself, well, that's not me. It might be. So just
it might be. Yeah, you don't
check in.
You don't necessarily have the best perception.
And if you don't care enough to like improve yourself in the work world,
but that takes time.
Do it for your life.
It's very overwhelming.
Do it for your friends.
And here's the other thing about constructive feedback. Sure, work on those things that to make a project better, make yourself better. But also you need to play to your strengths.
I agree.
You need to know your strengths. And if you don't know your strengths, my strengths are soft skills. My strengths are organization, type A, project management. Right. And I know that, and I play to that. I've been in jobs where I didn't have a lot of opportunity for project management. I didn't have a lot of opportunity for XYZ thing. And guess what? My performance is good, not great. And I communicate that. I say, I think I'm doing pretty well for this job environment that does not play to my skills. And you need to understand your skills if you don't already. And then your growth needs to be towards those things. I feel like I'm finally in a position that plays to my skills.
I agree.
And I'm trying to utilize that the best that I can.
Gosh, amazing. Put that in a book. That was good.
It's another book.
That was really good. I really like that. I'm going to give you a congratulative pat on the back.
Because then you adapt. You get projects that play to those skills.
Right. Correct.
That's the benefit that you're bringing. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you learn those skills and when you learn to recognize the skills you have, it's easier for management to place you in positions you enjoy.
And then when you communicate them and you make it very transparent about when people say, "Hey, what do you want to do in your career?" Even if you don't know, say, "I don't know, but I know that these are my strengths and I would like an environment that lifts those up rather than an environment where I can't." The workload doesn't necessarily play to those things. Does that make sense?
Right. I agree. It just made me think about a conversation I had at work the other day that I can't wait to share with my...
Great.
It's so exciting. Lauren, I think this was a really great talk, and I just want to end it on a really high note of saying, like, good for you. Like, way to come to the team and say, like, this is how we're going to improve, and this is what I hope from us as a team, instead of being a royal piece of shield snips. Because that was pretty good.
Well, thank you.
That's an A+.
I appreciate it.
Growth, natural love. Good for you. I'm trying to say something smart. That didn't come out right.
And I'm not trying to say it to like
No,
praise myself.
it's not about that at all.
It's just, I thought it would be nice to share.
That could be a conversation itself. I find acknowledging when we are successful to be an appropriate emotional growth tactic. You just by saying to yourself, hey, I really think I handled that a lot better than I normally would, is not prideful. It does not come with any sort of boasting. It has everything to do with acknowledging your faults in the past and showing
where you're at now.
And where you are now, and saying, wow, that could have gone differently.
I'm definitely not going to put myself in a position where mean emails can be directed at me.
Correct. And now you can position yourself on the chessboard differently.
Yes, exactly.
Now you can be 5 steps ahead.
Because I was not expecting that. Now
you will no longer be a pawn.
And the information should meet the expectation.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to do anything else to impress the team and the plan, you do things that are going to benefit everybody always.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're never gonna. I feel in a way you might have been a little blindsided, and like I think that's something
usually
that
I'm a very over-prepared person, right?
And I don't think that's
With
ever gonna happen to you again.
Busy schedule. If I wasn't busy, I would have spent more time.
Sure, some people are just.
I would have
snakes in a bush.
I would have sent out a note to say, oh, hey, who's going to talk about what? But guess what? I had other people on my team and they weren't asking me. They weren't saying, hey, who's going to talk about what? It's not all on me.
No, of course.
To do those
the full
things.
responsibility does not lay on you. It should never lay on you.
It met my workload.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's fine. It's okay.
I agree.
Would I like to be way over prepared?
Sure. But you can't
it makes me
do
look
that.
good a lot of times. All right.
Right. But like,
there's definitely an advantage.
I just don't think that's sustainable, and I don't think you can always be that person.
You're absolutely right.
And that's not healthy. And that's,
And sometimes it's not needed. Thank you for listening.
That was really good, Lauren.
I agree.
I hope that was helpful
good
for
talk.
somebody.
Thank you.
It was a good talk.
Aren't you happy that I talk so much and you
I
didn't
was
talk
so
much?
grateful that you were like just taking over today. I was like, this is an episode just about Lauren. Proud of us. She's working it back up, guys.
I'm proud of you for buying a house.
Oh my God, thank you.
You're killing it.
We're killing it.
Boss
ladies, boss babes. Podcast, lady pods.
I don't want to call myself a babe.
I don't like
Please
babes.
nobody else call me that either. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, well, Lauren's getting weird again.
Thank
you
for listening to another episode of The Oakview. Wait, thank you for listening to another episode of
The Oakview. You guys can catch us next week with more riveting information. I can't wait to share what I have to share.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you again for listening to The Oakview. You can follow Lauren and Emma on Instagram at The Oakview Podcast, OAKVIEW Podcast, or email us at theoakviewpodcast@gmail.com.